And welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Happy Thursday. I don't know what the hell is going on with YouTube, but it's just going crazy with music. I don't understand it. There's always something. But I was actually a little bit late today because I decided to um, I decided to move some of my furniture around and change my background. Give me a second, Omar. Good morning, buddy. Let's see. What is in. Give me a second, Omar. Good morning, buddy. Looks like I'm going to have a. I'm
Let's
going to
see,
have an annoying
what
voice
is
on my ear.
in-
Good morning, Pam.
Give me a
How are you?
second,
God
Omar.
bless
Good
you.
morning, buddy.
Thank you. There was an update that I had to do on my software, and I think it just threw everything off. Looks like I'm going to have a.
So,
Sorry for
let's
the
see,
an
uh,
annoying
what
voice
technical
on my
difficulties.
ears. Good morning, Pam.
Give me a
How are you?
second,
God
Omar.
bless
Good
you.
morning, buddy.
Thank you. There was an update that I had to. There we go. Okay. I got it. I got it. I figure it out. It takes me a little while sometimes, but I get it done. I get it done. Good morning. So, news today. I want to say welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show, and thank you for being here with me today. I actually, if you notice my background, I actually put one of my shelves behind me, just because it was out of the way to the side, and I figure why not just put some of my camera equipment in the back, and just a little thing is going to be a little bit wider next time. And I think I want to have maybe I put some shelves to put all my hats in there. It's not going to be enough shelves for my hats, but nonetheless, it will be shelves where I can put my hats away. All right, let's see who else we got in here. Guero's in the house. My man, let's go. Welcome, Patriots. TWC, hey, she was fired. That breaking news. Don't steal my thunder. Let me get there, man. Let me get there. Oh, man. That is one of the news that I have for you. Pam Bundy leaving is inevitable. I believe that President Trump has already said that she is gone. Now, we'll get into it, but Brian, what's up? Welcome, big bro. Always good to have you in here, Michael, Mr. Hunter. Oh man, that's I don't know if you want that last name right now. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Hunter's still pretty cool. Don't worry about it. Just giving you crap. Let me see. I got my yeah. I got my notification. Making sure that I give myself a thumbs up because I monitor my video as well. It doesn't count like an extra view because it's actually my profile, and those don't count as extra views. Mariposa, traicionera, days of the week, days of the week. That sounds like a leftist quote. Oh my gosh, I am being tortured right now. You have no idea. Good afternoon, Aztec. You better behave. Behave. I know you like to give me shit, but you need to behave. You have to understand that I read a lot of negative comments on here. I don't need you to be one of those, okay? Let's see. We got Tanya Big says, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Magic Man, what's up? All right, here we go. So, of course, the breaking news. Yeah, Pam Bondi is leaving. And I wanna make sure that everybody understands how this works. I hear a lot of things. Like I was listening to a lot of CNN, talking about, giving the news on how Trump says something and whatnot. I'm the guy that plays an advocate, okay? I play devil's advocate. For some people, for other people, I'm just speaking common sense, okay? So with that being said, I listened to CNN and I was listening to the report, and I want the news to be giving the way they are. And what happens now with news reporters, they have this panel, and and what happens with the news, by the time we get it's already so diluted, because what they do is they talk about, okay, so President Trump does a press conference and it says what it says, right? But then the panel goes in, kind of like us, right? We come in here and then we start talking about it. And then, Aztec has this point of view. I got this point of view. And then Brian gives me this point of view. All of a sudden, whoever gave you the most ideas, that is the news that you receive. I like to be able to give it as straightforward as it should be, okay? I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying only my information is correct. But I think sometimes people forget to, to always see two sides of the story, right? So you see two sides of the story, but at the end of the day, it's like, what did this person say? And, when Trump is talking about the Hormuz Strait, I know this is not Pam Bundy yet, but when Trump is talking about the Hormuz Strait, we go over there, we're giving all this money, $1.5 trillion, I think, $1.3 trillion now, I believe, is what we give to NATO, right? And I searched it yesterday on Google. It gave me 980 billion. So just 20 billion under $1 trillion that we give NATO. Now, President Trump, the world knows that this terrorist regime in Iran have been saying death to America, death to Israel. So I always get on my side. It's, number one, I love Israel. I don't believe my salvation depends on Israel. That is my faith and my trust in God, believing in Jesus Christ. That's where my salvation comes from. But at the same time, we are Israel's friend. And what friends do is they come together and they fight together, right? To whatever evil that is. We didn't go over there and bomb Hamas. We allowed Israel to do what they got to do. It is what it is, and we help in some way, but we didn't go over there and throw our jets. Not that I'm aware of. If I am wrong, please correct me right now or forever hold your peace, right? So I'm looking at the way that we're fighting, all right? So Israel is our friend. We talk. Hey, listen, I cannot stand these guys anymore. 47 years. I said this 30 years ago. I'm exaggerating, but many, many decades ago, Trump said Iran is a problem. Every president has says Iran is a problem. Iran has to be dealt with. And we're not talking about making war to the people. We're just talking to get rid of this since 1979 mistake. And so nobody's done anything about it except for President Donald Trump. Now, I would like to clarify something here. Don't think that he doesn't care about the United States. Don't think that he doesn't care about us paying high prices. He knows. He knows that there's going to be some consequences of us doing what we have to do. Not what we want, what we have to. And the crazy thing is that we give, our NATO. We give them this information and let's say, hey, you know what? We're going to go do this. Morning, Samuel. Robert, big bro, good morning. And, and we go over there, we say, okay, listen, we told them, if you kill somebody, if you kill those protesters, we're going to come after you. We already know what we want, right? So we already know that we're on high alert. We're on red alert, so to speak. And they didn't care. They killed over 30,000 people of their own people, the Iranian people. So we know that when they say they're going to do something, they will do it. And the only reason why they haven't attacked us, the only reason why it has been quiet and some people just forget about it, right? It's because they haven't made or had the capability to get those intercontinental missiles, meaning that they can reach us, the United States of America. Last year, we did a precision strike. We obliterated the mountain where the nuclear facility was at. But the uranium is still there. I want to be able to try to cover everything. The uranium is still there. But the Iranians don't have their hands on it. Okay? So now we're still on red alert, right? We're still on red alert, but we're done. We're not attacking anymore. We stopped them. And then what do? We get our intel. DNI says, hey, listen, there's no imminent threat here. The nuclear base, yep, it's gone. And we don't believe they have any nuclear weapons. But, still, they are still threatening to kill us. And then what do we get? We get in the news, and they say, hey, we can get our hands on the uranium. It's under rubble right now, but we can still get it. And we have it ready to go to nuclear capability. And we have enough uranium to make 11 missiles. And as you know, President Trump said, okay, you want to go about it that way? We told you. We destroyed the facility. Stop it. Don't do it. And they come and threaten us again. So guess what? When we see them kill thousands of their own people after saying that they will, now they're threatening us with the capability of making 11 nukes, talking about they're going to go under the rubbles and get all the uranium back. What are we supposed to do? To me, that is imminent threat. I don't care how you look at it. You can look at however you want. This is just why I opinion the way that I opinion. So now here we go. We're going to go ahead and attack. We let NATO know. But they did know. Everybody knows. We knew that this is going to happen. If NATO and everybody else didn't learn from when we said that we're going to go do something in Venezuela, that we're going to hit those boats with drugs, we didn't bluff. By now, the world knows that President Donald J. Trump does not bluff. It is not doing what Israel is telling him to do. You know how I know? Because he's been saying that for decades. He's been calling it, just like every other president out there. Iran is a threat. Iran is a threat. We should attack Iran. We should attack Iran. We should attack Iran. And I don't know what happens. I don't know what happened to Congress, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the president just saying, well, you know what, maybe I can't do this because all hell's going to break loose. Well, regardless of what my faith is, the fact is that Trump has been saying this for a very long time. I'm going to get in power, and I'm just going to attack the shit out of him. I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. That's what he said. I will bomb the shit out of him. And that's what he's doing. So Netanyahu has nothing to do with us working with Israel against this Iran regime. I believe they are going to be sent back to the Stone Age. But here's the thing that you don't know. We are a sort of big brother to a lot of nations. President Trump is not making war with the people of Iran. So I know, as the richest nation in the world, we are going to help them rebuild, as we do with every other war, every other attacks that we make. We help those countries that we attack rebuild. And they rebuild better than what they had before. So I got to be able to try to rationalize these things. And so I'm going to go back to NATO here. We're spending at least $980 billion. $980 billion for NATO. And how do they repay us? By turning their backs on us. By allowing China to dictate what NATO is going to do. How does that work? Russia was not in there. I got it. Trump said that was a big mistake. We should have allowed Russia to become part of NATO. But here we are. Let me see how much is China. Does anybody know how much China pays NATO? Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, I misspelled that one. China does not pay or fund NATO. As a sovereign military alliance, NATO is funded exclusively by its member nations. China is not a member and often views NATO as a source of regional stability, positioning itself against the alliance's expansion. Have I been wrong? Am I confusing the alliances here? Isn't it China that's gone to NATO and talk shit about Israel? Somebody, please correct me on the chat. Maybe I'm confusing it. I'm losing my mind here. NATO's budget is funded by its country's civil and defense budgets. Okay. China and NATO are not partners. China has historically expressed opposition to U.S.-led alliances, including NATO. Okay. So who does China talk to about Israel? Is it United Nations? Is that what it is? Maybe I'm confusing this. Is that what it is? United Nations? Oh my gosh, I'm confusing my organizations here. Apologize. Let's see. United Nations. I don't see anything good in here. Let's see what we do. This is what we do. Due to the powers vested in its charter, and its unique international character, the United Nations can take action on the issues confronting humanity in the 21st century, including maintain international peace and security, protect human rights, deliver humanitarian aid, promote sustainable development, uphold international law. Which, by the way, there's not such thing for us. We don't live under international law. Thank you very much. The UN structures are the General Assembly. Let me see. So who the hell is China? Has been complaining. China. Let me. Maybe if I just search that. Man, I could have sworn that it was in NATO. Don't want videos. Foreign Ministry spokesperson mounting regular press conference. Foreign Ministry. Man, what the hell is it? Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao says, blah, blah, blah. They hate Israel. Man, who are they allied to? What's China's alliance? What the hell? I must be misinformed. I know Iran, Russia, and all that stuff, and North Korea, but now I'm going to have to really go look for that stuff. All right, let me take a look at the chat and see if you guys found it. Let's see. USA don't let the Supreme Court. Guys, don't get ahead of me. We'll get to those points. We're going to talk about Pam Bondi. We're going to talk about NASA. We're going to talk about birthright citizenship. We'll get there. Stay on focus so that we can have a conversation here. Let me see. Okay. Somebody's already doing some dumbass shit in here. I don't know what this guy is doing. Itzek, no wonder, bro. You're going to be timed out. Reading is hard. What is China's? Okay. XK, there is an alliance, but is it UN, United Nations? China aligns with Russia. Yeah, I know. No, but there is an organization. Who is the organization? I thought it was NATO, to be honest. I really thought it was NATO or the United Nations. But China was having these hearings with other world leaders, including the USA, other world leaders, and they were talking about Israel and how they were against Israel. I need to know what that alliance is. If China is not part of NATO, I need to know what organization they belong to. Because all I know is North Korea, Iran, uh, not Iran, India, Russia. It was Venezuela. Let's see that happen. Let's see. Man, I can't find it. I can't find it. That's why I'm asking you questions, numbnuts. So if you can find it, let me know. Let me know. Let me see because it doesn't give me anything on here. Actually, okay. Okay, it has to be. There's no other way. It has to be United Nations. G7? Blah, 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 G7. I thought that was, yeah, I guess. But G7 was hosted on Canada, wasn't it? Yeah, with Canada. Okay. But G7, which includes Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. That's not China. G20, that sounds more like it. I think it's the G20. I think that's the one that I'm looking at. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. All right. So G20 country members. Man, these damn organizations are useless, bro. They are really useless. The more I look into this shit, the less I think they're needed. Okay, so this is a premier forum for international economic cooperation. So economic, okay? That's all about the economy. Together, these members represent over 85% of global GDP. Okay, for this is for finances, right? This is for finances. So nobody in here thought it would be a good idea to help the United States with anything. I know China's not going to help, but you know what? I hear a lot about China talking shit about Israel, and Israel doesn't kill their own people. Israel doesn't starve their own people. As a matter of fact, when they were attacking Hamas, they were giving a lot of food and help to the Palestinians, and were helping them to all get out of the bombing or the striking zones. So you know when you look at these groups or these countries doing this kind of stuff, where are we at? You know, okay, so we're not friends with China. We have a relationship, but it's more business relationship. There is no love friendship there. There is no alliance there, and that's what I want to get to, right? So you have Spain, you have France, you have Italy. By the way, France, I believe France was the country that gave refuge, right, to Khamenei. I believe so, and then also they were supporting them as well. So, F France, they already picked their side, I guess. But you know, you're putting all these things together. So what does Trump says? Okay, so we have NATO. All right, so this is not China, this is not Russia. So we have NATO, and we say, hey, listen, they threatened to kill us and Israel. We're going in. They didn't need to know, okay, listen, on this date, at this time, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. So I think that people need to chill when it comes to Israel for a little bit. Because I don't think that people understand what the hell is actually going on. Okay? I'm not saying that you're stupid. I'm just saying maybe you just haven't heard or you are ignorant on the subject of it. Okay, I'm ignorant on many subjects. But here's the thing: we attacked, we destroyed the Air Force, we destroyed their Navy, and then we said, okay, guys, the hard part is done. Come and help us get these Oilers out of here safely, and they all chickened out. Okay, fine. Just let us use your air bases. No, they all chickened out. Prime Minister from the UK and France, and now President Trump's friend, Italy. Italy is also denying the use of the military base for Americans to do. So I'm going to tell you, everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. It seems like, except Trump. And I can be naive, and I can say, this could be very good for us. If they don't want, if Iran does not want to allow oil to be sold and be going through the Hormuz Strait, just like President Trump says, well, buy our oil. We got you. We will give you the oil that you need. And we'll make money. And we will make money. If you don't want to go over there and use the Strait of Hormuz, then you can buy oil from us. So what can I expect from that? I think that will be a very good thing for us financially. All right, we'll switch gears and we go and talk about Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, you have to understand about Pam Bondi is that, welcome back, sis. Pam Bondi is a great attorney, a fantastic attorney. She has put corrupted judges, not just any other criminal, judges, has put them away, has a good, record. But I think that, after so much, you got to change scenery. Now, people always say, oh, Trump is fired Pam Bondi. Yeah, you can call it that if you want. But she's not leaving the Trump's administration. At least that's not what I'm understanding from Trump. At least not from what he's saying. So I'm not gonna, go too far into that, but I really don't think that she's being fired. Here we go. Let's see. Attorney Pam Bondi says, let's take a little quick read on Pam Bondi here. Over the next month, I will be working tirelessly to transition the office of Attorney General to the amazing Todd Blanche before moving to an important private sector role. I am thrilled about that. And where I will continue fighting for President Trump and the administration. Now, I know, yucky. I know that the leftists don't want to hear that. No, they want to hear she's fired. Pam Bondi sucks. I told you she sucks. Well, I think that the Epstein files, the way she handled that, I think she messed up. And it happens. Nobody's perfect. So, but nonetheless, Trump went into the courthouse and he must have seen something that says, you know what, we need to chill. I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to put you somewhere else. Last night, she came in with President Trump. She was on the front row, listening to President Trump. They have a great friendship, great relationship. President Trump admires Pam Bondi and always gives her credit for doing a great job. Did she make a mistake? Absolutely. I've made mistakes when I worked, and that's good. You learn from mistakes. But unfortunately, these kind of mistakes, they just keep crawling behind you, and eventually they catch up. And I'll give you that. Now, it's to me, what I understood when somebody tells me that the files are on my desk, I don't literally believe that there's a pile of files on the desk. I just don't see that. But I know that what she's saying is I got them in my hands, right? I got them on my hands. That doesn't mean she has them right there. That's a figure of speech. But she still messed up with the statement. As an attorney general for the whole United States of America, you will think she speaks better English than me. And she made that mistake. Second mistake was when she was talking about hate speech. Yeah. She messed up on that one as well. You can't take people's rights away when it comes to a freedom of speech. It's not the same as hate speech. And whatever point she was trying to make, I think she didn't nail it. And besides that, whatever Trump saw at the hearing, at the court, whatever thing, it obviously gave him the final decision to say, okay, I'm not going to fire you because I like you. I appreciate everything you've done for me and the United States of America. So I want you to do something else. Here we go. Second paragraph. Leading President Trump's historic and highly successful efforts to make America safer and more secure has been the honor of a lifetime. and easily the most consequential first year of the Department of Justice in American history. Since February 2025, we have secured the lowest murder rate in 125 years, secured first ever terrorism convictions against members of Antifa, shattered domestic and transnational gangs across the country, taking custody of more than 90 key cartel figures, and won 24 favorable rulings at the Supreme Court. I remain eternally grateful for the trust that President Trump placed in me to make America safe again. And I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So here is an update, and I'll share this video here with you guys. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, manufacturing productivity has gone up to the highest level it's ever been. The past 2 months, we had record-breaking export numbers, over $300 billion in exports in January and February. We've seen the trade deficit go down by 24% since April. And I'm going to share a clip. Not from here, not there. I'm going to share this clip.
You know, Trace, it's not what I think, it's what the facts show. When you look over the past year, manufacturing productivity has gone up to the highest level it's ever been. The past 2 months, we've had record-breaking export numbers for the United States, over $300 billion in exports in January and February. We've seen the trade deficit go down by 24% since April. So Americans are making more stuff, they're getting paid more to make it, and they're selling more of it overseas. So on every count, it's been a big win. Well, you know, Trace, it's not what I think, it's what the facts.
I remember this video when Trump was doing Liberation Day, right? When Trump was doing these tariffs, reciprocal, by the way. You know, the reason why I started being more vocal about this, right? Because I would just do little quick videos like everybody else, and then I saw this, and I'm like, holy shit, we're paying that many tariffs, but we're the United States of America. Shouldn't people be paying us instead of the other way around? And so I was like, okay, if they're charging us 100% tariffs, how is that possible? That doesn't make sense. And so when he put this reciprocal in there and people started bitching and complaining about it, I'm like, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining if this is going to help the United States of America? Why do you complain? Why do you root against the United States of America? Why do you always cheer for our enemies taking advantage of us? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know what people on the left, I'm going to assume that it's just the left and some on the right, but I want to know, what is it that you root for? Do you believe in the United States of America? Or do you believe that our enemies are better than us? Do you believe that our enemies deserve everything and not us? Because the Constitution says that we're supposed to look out for our benefits, not the world's. We help the world, but we got to help ourselves first. We're setting ourselves very nicely. So for people that want to be on the left, like CNN was making it sound, oh my God, Pam Bundy's been doing so horrible, she got fired. Well, I don't see it that way. When you get fired from a company, you're gone. Done. Like the government officials that President Trump fired. All those people were fired. They didn't go to a side department. They didn't get to a new group. They were gone. They don't work for the government, period. That's fired. Am I right? That's what fire is. When you're no longer allowed, you're fired. That's just the way I look at it. Now, in other news, just switching gears here, because I got a couple of things for you guys, okay? Now, this one is a bit longer, but you know we'll talk through it. This is the launch from NASA. You know, I said yesterday I don't really want to spend so much money on NASA, but NASA, I mean, let's be honest. We got to be prepared. We got to be cutting edge with the with the $2. What happened, bro? She was moved to another position. Very simple, and she's not fired. Absolutely. And we'll close that. We'll change gears with that. I will allow you to phone in if you want to, okay? But I want to hit my point so that you guys can know what I'm talking about, and then you can question. So if you have questions, write them down as I'm talking, so that way you get a chance to ask me, okay? I know there's a few, like maybe a 10-second delay for some of you, and then I'll pay attention to your chats, okay? Unless you super chat, you just gotta wait until I'm actually reading comments from the chat, okay? That's all I ask. Now, with that being said, I am not very fond of giving so much money to NASA for research because it seems like useless. But at the same time, you know, NASA and all these other departments that are connected, you know, they are watching space. They're watching the skies for us. And we can't ignore that asteroids or meteorites are always hitting our Earth. All the cheese holes that you see on the moon, those are meteorites that could have hit the Earth. Big enough to make those craters, and bigger probably because of our oxygen and atmosphere. You know, we don't see that impact. So I'm okay. I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay with being first. Get to the far Robert, be nice. To get to the longest distance that we've gone from before. You know? And so I'm okay with it. Let me tell you something, man. I've heard somebody said this before, you know, and I said it was something to do with, like, you know, somebody was like lost $20, right? They lost $20. And I was like, oh, dang, man, you lost $20, man. Shoot, well, here, bro, let me help you out. And the person was like, nah, man, don't worry about it. $20, it's not going to make me or break me. And I was like, oh, I like that. I like that. So the way that I look at things that we do here as a country, I look at them this way, and I start thinking, okay, if we just keep saying we don't want to use money here, or here, well, what do we use the money on? Useless programs. And some people, I find this very interesting. Some people on the Democratic side and Republican, it goes both ways. And by the way, politicians, bro, the politics, I am so disappointed. I knew that I never wanted to be a politician. Republicans and Democrats, we got time. We have time. But I will tell you this. Republicans and Democrats, horrible. The political world is ruthless. I mean, damn. I've heard many hearings. Democrats questioning, Republicans questioning, witnesses and all these other stuff. And I'm like, God dang, I can't do that shit. I can't. I can't just sit there and let people talk about me like I am guilty of something when I'm not. These people should be in jail. They purge themselves by lying, telling people this guy is a rapist. No, he's not. Hasn't been proven in court. Oh, this guy's a thief. No, he's not. It's not proven in court. But the senators, when they interview their witnesses, they make all these false accusations, and I thought we had a law in our country. Why do they get away with lying? I don't understand. How do they get away with lying? It's crazy. And so I tell you this because you guys know already, if you guys are my members, you guys know this. When I called the Republican Party Committee here in my county, oh my gosh, I knew that you got to do all these things and you need a lot of money, you know, to win and this and that. But I was blown away that just like people expect me to have tact, right, when I talk to people, I expected the same thing from them. And I thought, okay, I'm asking you because I need some information. You know, I'm thinking about doing this, and this is what I stand for. And my policies is exactly what President Trump's policies have right now with the Republicans. And, you know, I never been a Republican. You know, I've actually been a Democrat more than a Republican. But the policies that Democrats had before is what Republicans have. And so I want to be in your corner, and I want to go to fight. And I said, you know, this and that, and I just kind of give him my ideas and, you know, how I feel about the Constitution and the law, and I'm a migrant, and I've done this, and I'm that, and I've done this charity, and I've done this work with the church, and we give gifts to the kids that don't have toys, and we fed people, and we clothed people, and I have a good heart for the people. And she said, I'm going to put it in my own words, that doesn't mean shit. Money talks, kind hearts walk. That's what I heard. Money talks. And when she said that, I told the lady on the phone, I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, you might understand it that way. But let me tell you something. The last couple of Republican candidates that went in there, they were all money and no heart, and you freaking lost. And now we're paying the price for that. How about that? How about you qualify somebody by where their heart is and what they want to do for the people and what kind of experience do they have caring for others instead of money talks? Money makes the world go round, but money doesn't always touch the heart of people. So who are you hiring? Who are you supporting? Just because they got money? Let's not get it twisted. I don't believe on overtaxing the rich. I believe in deregulations and tax cuts. I believe in that. But that doesn't mean that I support the powerful rich over anybody else who is a working class. Because this country was made for the people, by the people. This country is a constitutional republic. We use a democracy to choose our leaders, but we are not a country of thieves. And I just, you know, it bothered me. So the politic world sucks. And with that being said, we have all this money that we can grab to do things like NASA projects. I mean, Elon Musk is out there private, but he's out there, you know, building all these, rockets and getting this and that. And then other privateer companies are also building those jets that can just go to the first ring outside the Earth, I believe it was, or whatever, just to get that gravity feel, that G0, whatever it's called. I'm okay with that. That's fine. No problem. So when people come into my channel and they think, oh, this guy's a Trumpster. Yeah, sure, I am. But I normally put my Trumpster hat on because I like to troll people. You know why? Because after COVID-19, they took my rights away. I didn't want to get vaccinated, and they demonized me for being unvaxxed. And then they threatened to take my job away, which is what I was doing to feed my family. They abused their power and forced me to get a vaccine. If I want to keep my job, I need the vaccine. And if I want to travel international, I need a vaccine. Trump put out a vaccine as fast as they could approve it. But he's not responsible for the side effects. You know why? Because he said not to do it. Everybody forced. Dr. Fauci put a signature on it. President Trump said, okay. I trust science. Big mistake. Big mistake. Science are trials. Doctors are not professionals. They are not professionals. They have a practice. You know what that means? That there's no sure cure for every disease. They got to try things to try to help you. Not heal you, but to put up with the disease. Eventually, you get healed, and that depends on your body. That depends on God's will as well. I'm not stupid. They took my rights away. And then they told me that I can't talk openly. Wait, what? They told me that I couldn't say some things. They blocked my Facebook. They blocked my Instagram. They blocked my Twitter. I couldn't say anything that had the word Trump is doing something good on it. Blocked. So I got pissed off. And I said, nah, that's not going to happen again. 3 jabs later. Oh, son, bitch. Woo. Now I feel like I'm having these heart problems thanks to the damn vaccine. But you know what? God's will. Whenever he wants me to go, I'm ready to go anytime. If I'm told, okay, Dennis, this is the day that you got to go, I will be sad because I will be allowed to think about not seeing my kids, and the flesh is weak, so I'm going to be emotional. And of course I'm going to be sad. I'm not going to be afraid of dying. But of course it's going to melt my heart and say, oh, man, I can't leave my family, this and that. Those thoughts are there to betray us. But at the end of the day, it is God who is always in control of our life. And that's what I believe. So there's that. So I give you some things in life where I'm at with this to kind of give you an understanding of how I think, the way that I think. Whenever I gave my views, okay, well, what do you believe in? Well, I believe in America first. Oh, yeah, well, what about immigration? Well, I think everybody should respect the immigration law. You're a Trumpster! It's crazy. You're a Trumpster! Unvax! Demon! What the hell is wrong with the left? Who dropped you guys when you were babies? It is crazy. How the hell are you going to demonize me because you don't agree with what my opinions are? So, they kept telling me, oh, you're a Trumpster, you're a Trump. I'm like, bro, there's nothing to do with Trump. This is what's best for the country. No, you're a Trumpster. You know what? Make America great, motherfuckers. So now I wear my hats. Now I wear my Trump hats. Because the left is stupid. And I keep telling you, if you come in and argue with somebody because you hate Trump, you're never going to have a real conversation. Why do you need a migrant? Some guy that was born over 2,000 miles away. Why would you listen to that guy? You were born here. And you hate your country. And I love it. It's like those kids, that have good parents, that love them. I had these Mexican friends. There was 3 boys. The oldest was 1 year younger than me. And I used to hang out with this Mexican family, with the kids all the time. We used to play soccer, we played football, we played basketball. We did everything. We even mooned somebody when they drove by. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit rebellious at some point in my life. And, we got in trouble for it. But you know what? I never disrespected my elders. And so I would spend time with them so much, with them and their cousins. Because the 2 brothers, they live in the same apartment complex as us. And so my friend's father and mother had 3 boys that I was friends with. And then the father's brother had 2 girls and a boy. And the boy was kind of, a little bit younger than us. But we all hung out. We all hung out with the girls, with the boys, and everything was fantastic. And then I will go to their house. And I will go hang out with them. Because, listen, my father died when I was 4 years old, right? So I don't know. I don't know what a father is supposed to be like. But I know what I want as a son. I know how to be responsible with what I'm supposed to do in my life. And I knew that if I had a father, I had to be obedient to my father. I knew I had to be obedient to my mother. And so I will hang out with him, right, the older brother. And we would just play Sega. You know, I used to play, I think it was called something Beast. Somebody probably knows. What is that? Like, it's not Transylvania. I don't know what the hell it was, but there's some type of beast game. And I would turn into this werewolf or something like that. Sega. And then we play Sonic. Remember Sonic when it first came out? Anyway, so I used to play these games with them, and then the mother will call. And the mother will say, Eric, come eat. And I'll be like, hey, bro, go eat. Don't worry about it. You know, I'll finish the level. Go eat. Nah, ma, I don't want to eat. Hey, bro, but your mom says you got to eat. Alter Beast. I think you're right, Ronaldo. And I said, bro, that's your mom. You know, your mom is calling you to go eat. and then he's like over there throwing a fit. And then she told him that before he sat down to eat, which, by the way, oh my God, the food was amazing. And yes, I was invited and I loved it. I burned the crap out of my lips and my tongue and everything inside my internal organs. Because this Mexican family, oh my God, dude, it's so spicy. But here's the thing. She told him to take the garbage out. And he called her a bitch. And I said, whoa, hey, bro. And she got mad and she said, what did you say? And he just said it again. And I was like, hey, bro, don't talk to your mom like that. What the hell's wrong with you? I said, don't say that to your mom. Your mom is holy. That's how I see my mom. I said, your mom is holy. You never curse at your mom. Even when you throw a fit, you never curse at your mom. And the father and the mother worked so hard for them to have those games. By the way, I didn't have that game myself. Eventually, I did get a Super Nintendo. That was nice. But I was so surprised that he called her that name. And I'm like, I said, bro, your mom is holy, bro. It's like she loves you. She does your laundry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and your father loves her. They both worked at a restaurant as servers. And, you know, they also work as servers themselves later when they were old enough. But I don't know. They were so disrespectful to their parents. I just couldn't believe it. And I'm just like, bro, you just don't do that. You just don't do that. And one time I think I got into a fight with him. And, you know, it really bothered me because my mother always told me to show respect, right? Especially to my elders. My elders, when I was a kid. I think that now when we get to a certain age, everybody is elders, including myself. So I will go off on a 75-year-old if they're not listening. But I'll tell you what. But if they are needing help, I am there for them. I am there for them 100%. I got love for everybody. You have no idea. So anyways, I tell you this because sometimes people look at me and they just think, this guy, who is this guy? Right? And then, you know, I'm a Trumpster, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and go back forward here. And I am a capitalist. I believe in a capitalist economy because the capitalist economy allows me to be as rich and as wealthy as I can be. A socialist economy does not create jobs because in a socialist economy, everybody becomes lazy. Nobody wants to sacrifice. There is no incentive to work harder than others. Nothing. There's no incentive because at the end of the day, they will take all of your money away and give it away to people that don't deserve it. So that's where I'm at with that, right? But here's the thing. As many of you in here, and I'm talking about my brothers and sisters here that are American and those who support me, the thing is that we believe in capitalism, but we also want those socialist programs because it works. It does help. And I think that we should change some things to help even more. Ducati, I wish I was drifting. I wish I was getting paid $10,000 a month. I'm not. No Republican, no Democrat pays me to speak my mind. This is a free country, and I use my freedom of speech as much as I can. And so, I have all these ideas that will actually help the country. And when I'm looking at parties, okay, what are you going to do for the people? You're going to do this? Okay, I like that. What are you going to do for the people? Oh, you're screwed. Nope, I don't want that. I want to know what policies align with my beliefs. If your beliefs don't align with my beliefs, you're in the wrong channel. You go and support somebody that has your beliefs. If you don't agree with the policies that we have, that I'm supporting right now, which the Republicans took over once Trump, who was a Democrat, became a Republican. The Democrats just hated Trump so much that they betrayed every single one of us. No joke. Everything horrible that the Democrats are doing today, it's only for one reason and for one reason only. They hate Trump with a passion, and they don't even know why. They go on these allegations, on these false testimonies, on accusations, and they just believe everything. They don't understand. They don't know how to use common sense. They don't know how to critically think. How do we solve a problem? Okay, Biden. I never believe he's a pedophile. But then he talks about, and in the summer, the children will come and play with my hair because the hair will stand up. What the hell are you talking about? That sounds like a little bit crazy there. I love children jumping in my lap. That sounds crazy. But I don't think the perverted approach to it. The only thing that made me think bad about him, and even that, I give him the benefit of doubt, is when he took a shower, I think it was, with his daughter. Okay, I don't know what he was doing in there. If she accuses him of some molestation, okay. Well, that's his daughter. But I don't think she did. So I can't go off on that. And so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next subject today. And then after this, so was I, Hammer, but that doesn't mean that I'm a felon or a criminal. You can call me a felon because I did go to jail for one night, but it was wrong. It was a mistake. And yeah, I will be a felon because I spent the night in jail, but that doesn't mean that I have a felony record on my record. Okay, but here we go. We get to the nitty-gritty and the dirty of the dirty, and we're gonna go to birthright citizenship. It is not for illegals. Under the jurisdiction, illegal parents are under the jurisdiction of their country of birth, of their government. And because we have allowed this to happen over and over again, we have the biggest example from LA all the way to New York. From corner to corner, from sea to shining sea. Mexican flags. Where's the American flag? Oh, I thought you said you're an American citizen. Why are you waving the Mexican flag? That's right. They were born under the jurisdiction of the parents' country. I am 100% with President Donald Trump to fight this. Here's the catch. I think that we should correct it. Correct a mistake that was made a long time ago. But we got to start fresh. Anybody that has been born before this court trial has happened should keep that citizenship. Let me tell you why. Everything that we do under the law, constitutionally, if I was here just as a migrant, not a green card holder, just a regular visitor, just a visitor, I am not under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. Therefore, my children have no right to this land. Period. If you go back to that Chinese guy, long time ago, the parents were residents. That's a big difference. That's a permanent domicile, and it allows for their children to be under the jurisdiction of the United States of America by the parents' choice, because they can always reject the green card. Making it very, absolutely clear. So there's no mistakes. I don't want to hear all this back shit talk when I already give you the points. I want you to pay attention. Write down your question while I'm talking so you can get me. If I had a child while I was just a regular migrant, not a green card holder, the law says that whatever status I have as a person in this country, that would determine if my children are legal or not. As a permanent resident, any child that is born in the United States of America, it's legal. The mother is a citizen or you are a resident, it counts. As a green card holder, you are under the jurisdiction of the United States of America, by choice, by the way. The difference is that once you become a citizen, check this out, once you become a naturalized American citizen, you are 100% American, but you don't get to run for president. So the Constitution has to be very clear that only those Americans who are actually born in the United States of America can run for president. Not the naturalized parents. Nope, that is unconstitutional. If you are a son or daughter of diplomats, same thing. You can be born in the United States of America, but you're not American. What was the problem with the slaves? You know, with the slaves, they said, oh, they were brought here illegally. Were they? Maybe. You can argue that. If they bought their slaves, that is their property. Let's remember that back then, slaves were not considered full humans. So if they bought the slaves and brought them here, they are now the property of the American citizen. And therefore, to me, are under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. The children of those slaves were born free Americans. Something that in Africa, you are born into slavery. And that is your inheritance, slavery. And that's how it works. And that's how I see it. Why was there a problem with our Native Americans? Well, because the Native Americans had their sovereignty land, meaning they were not under the jurisdiction of the United States of America either. But now we got the federal government, right? They support the reservations. They support the Native Americans. So they are under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. To a point with the federal, they are, but not with the local police. State and city police, they do not have any jurisdiction on the res. Okay? Man, that sounds good, doesn't it? That sounds very good. I think that was pretty good. So, with that being said, the only thing that I will disagree is to go back how many years? No, just start from the time that we put in this thing in court. Start from there. Everybody else, you get to keep your citizenship. And I would just recommend, if you go protest, don't raise the flag of your parents. Raise the flag of your country, United States of America. For Pete's sakes, have some pride, will you? All right. That's it. Fantastic. Thank you for watching the Dennis Herrera Show. Okay, I'm just kidding. Now I'll allow you to go ahead and ask me some questions. Now, let me go ahead and pay attention to the chat here. And I'm going to go ahead and, okay, the line open. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I say everything clear. You know, that's why we went to school. We went to school so that we can learn. See right here? Just a few of the books. Guess what? One of my favorite books. History Map. High school American history. The Constitution of the United States of America. Yes, the Quran is there. this fat one right there. This fat one is the Quran, the Bible, the book of this day in history, A Revolution of Common Sense by Scott Jennings, of course. And then I got other books in there. Barbary Wars is in there. Becoming an American Citizen, The Oath of an American States. Those are the books that I like. And from there, I had just studied other stuff and watched documentaries and try to understand the things that I am interested on learning. Okay, that's how I do things. So, with that being said, for those of you who don't have my number, let me see what time is it. 1:30. Ah, perfect, fantastic. Let me allow some questions. There we go. You can go ahead and call in if you want to have a conversation. Here's your chance. If you have been writing notes, got any questions about anything that I have talked about, whoo! Now is your time to speak, or forever hold your peace. Here we go. Let's go ahead and take a peek over here at the chat. Jason, ST, you're not very smart, are you? Well, shoot, that's where we start, huh? Yeah, he didn't understand. See, these people don't listen. They just hear something, and they lear nothing. They never lear because they don't listen. They just hear. All right. See, Hammer he's Hammer. That's why we call him Hammer. But Hammer, he's not even in the United States of America, so nobody gives a shit about what Hammer says. Janice Robinson, how are you? Good to see you on the chat. My man is saying hello, Robert Bryan. Watch out. Oh, Fanbook got blocked. Aztec says, Dennis, don't leave out that a felon charged with 34. You know, this is what I'm talking about, Aztec. This is what I'm talking. You don't listen. Did you know? Oh, my God. How many times have you been in my channel and I have explained this? We're not going to address that. I might block you, actually. Melody. Melody is blocked on my phone. Aztec doesn't call. So Aztec will probably get blocked on the chat if I read another stupid question like that. And Melody can't call, so I will try to read her comments. And, oh, here we go. Melody, a.k.a. Tyrone. I'm going to tell you, this is one beautiful Tyrone. I'll give you that. Melody, she's pretty hot. She's hot, guys. She just doesn't have any brains. But let's see. Maybe she'll prove me wrong today. Please, I love to GE. I don't know what that is. Trigger Dennis. Everyone else learned, but then I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Somebody translate for me to English that a migrant can understand. Oh, watch out. Thank you, WW2. I appreciate that. That was cool. Let's see. Janice says, let's see. Okay, here we go. The last time you mentioned 10 Commandments, you played the movie and started a whole convo. Try not to abbreviate, man. Try not to abbreviate. Okay? We can talk about the 10 Commandments. Yeah, 34 fake convictions. Man, I've been saying that. Ozzy, this is why I can't explain it anymore. You know what I'm saying? They already know. I just wish that they would just get over it. Just fucking get over it. Seriously, get over it. Let's get to some real issues, shall we? It is what it is. Even if you were right, so what? It is what it is. We got to move on. You can't stay in the past. Epstein Files is about to be closed. I believe it's probably closed already. So there you go. You got nothing. Oh, my goodness. I don't understand these people that want to live in the past. Move on forward. Uh-oh. Jason, we believe in two genders here, sweetheart. Male and female. You believe that you are a gender fluid unicorn. All right, so here's the subjects. You got Pam Bondi, the NASA launch, and birthright citizenship. Ask your question on the chat while I make my coffee refill here. Ugh. Just so you know why I say yuck, it's because it's white coffee. Woo. All right. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Only on the song because it's raining like a mofo out here in Washington State. Well, at least here in Western Washington. It's disgusting, Jason. It really is. I will, however, I will mix in even more nasty. I will mix in some mushroom coffee. Nah, they're not sponsoring us, so we don't tell you which mushroom coffee it is. Even more nastier. So if you see me mixing my coffee a few times, it's because this mushroom coffee, you have to keep mixing it. Otherwise, it'll just drop to the bottom. And it's if like you just torture yourself, but you didn't really drink it. So that's why I got to keep mixing it up. All right, whatever. At least I'm drinking some sort of coffee. I ran out of real coffee, the dark coffee. I need to wait and get some more. But next time I'm gonna get 2 big cans. All right, guys, there we go. Subjects: Pam Bondi, NASA, and birthright citizenship. I will tell you what, man. Birthright citizenship is my favorite. So it's up to you. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, my people. So white coffee, it takes some getting used to because white coffee doesn't have that beautiful dark coffee smell. And the taste, it's gross. So you don't get a good smell, you don't get a good taste, but it's so good for you. It really is. If you can drink it straight without me putting a little bit of Splenda on it, it's okay. It's not bad. If you want to put a couple of Splendas, I think you can pass it. It's okay, but it still doesn't smell that good. Doesn't smell like coffee. And the mushroom coffee that I put on it, you guys probably know the brand, but you know we're not going to mention it here. It's the coffee. It's supposed to help your gut, reduce your gut. I haven't seen a change. Yeah, I need to get back to exercising again. That's why I kind of want to get these. The Elon Musk, the Starlink thing, because I can put that in my backpack and I can have my internet wherever I go, wherever I walk, and I don't have to get interrupted. I call this coffee white privilege. It's not too bad. Yeah, you kind of get used to it. All right, let's see. Any good questions in here? Here we go. Here we go. Game Genie, how are you? Welcome. Susan, welcome. Coyote. Oh. Woo, 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 woo. Anyway, welcome, my friend. Sometimes when I can do it, I do it for you. You know, you guys. Man, Brian, and Coyote, you guys have a special way for me to say hello to you. So there's that. Let's see. What do we got here? Do not attack the host or members. That is true. Put your statements in there. What's going on? I said Pam Bondi. Here's the talking points. If you want to talk. Wait, what? Splendor makes people bloated. Quit Splendor. What? Wait a minute. This one? Jeez. That's bad? No way. It's just a little tiny powder thing. All right, we'll cut down. We'll cut down. I used 2 of them. I will use 1. We'll see how that goes. You just gave me some bad news, man. Bad news. Look at that. How about Aztec? No, I don't have shit for you. You get on my nerves a little bit too much. We're not there. We are not there. Plus, my native scream is Wepa! I don't know what Aztecs do. So there's that. All right, we got 40 likes, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button in there, okay? What else we got? Splenda is an artificial sweetener. It is. Absolutely. Just the whole thing is supposedly the sweetener doesn't affect your sugar level. As far as I know, I could be wrong. But if that is, how else can I sweeten my coffee besides honey? Because it doesn't do a job. It doesn't do a good job. I don't like sweetening coffee with honey. You know, if you call me on the phone, Aztec, then maybe you can tell me if you have a warrior scream. Samoan says, Chee-hoo! I don't know, Marvin. I don't know what your scream is. Ay, Dios mío! No. Maybe that's Marvin Bernal warrior scream. Ay, no! Ay, Dios mío! Oh, man. That is crazy. Stevia? I don't know. I never tried stevia, but let me check it out. I don't know what the hell that is. Stevia sugar. The leaf. Huh. Natural sweetener. Huh. Interesting. I can pick this up at Subway. Here we go. Stevia is a sweet sugar substitute that is about 50 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. It is extracted from the leaves of Stevia rebaudiana, a plant native to areas of Paraguay and Brazil. The active compounds in stevia are stevioglycosides, mainly stevioxide and ribaudioside. Hey, that was pretty good. That was actually pretty good. Stevia is heat stable, pH stable, and not fermentable. Humans cannot metabolize the glycosides in stevia, and it is therefore has 0 calories. I don't know. We're going to have to look that up. I'll probably forget about it. Maybe if I can just think about Steve, I'll probably remember. All right, guys, here we go. Come on. I'm paying $50 a month for this phone. Use it. And don't waste your call. $50 a month just for you guys to call. I could be saving $50 a month right now. I tell you that right now. Come on. Come on. All right, while you guys make up your mind, let's go ahead and start playing this.
Readiness poll with your go.
All right, sir, I am go for the poll.
All right. And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis II launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
OTC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
MCO.
CO's go.
Safety Console.
Safety Console is go.
LPE.
LP's go.
RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston Flight.
Houston flight is go.
ROC.
Rock is go.
And CDR.
Cruise go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And Launch Director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch. verify no constraints, and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range Weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good to hear your voice, Charlie. PLT.
Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
All right, Charlie, your Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis 2. Let's go. And NTD Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR, NTD.
Go.
Figure risers and initiate short purge per your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8 and 9 going to work.
Copy. CVSE, NTD. Start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy.
Okay. Well, there you heard it.
RSR, NTD.
RSR.
They're getting ready to start terminal count.
arm rotation enable at this time, please.
It's currently at T-minus 10 minutes. Once we wrap up this last bit of work,
SNA arm rotation enable complete.
we're going to start that clock.
Copy that. Thank you.
Integrity crew, close and lock visors.
You heard an issue, worked in real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock. This was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion. Worked through that issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching. Impressive work by the launch team. So we have a 2-hour window, which starts in just a few minutes at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
And ECL NTD will be waiting for your verification on the short purge.
ECL copies.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count.
Hey, Mark DeGloria, how are you? Welcome.
ECL time estimate?
About a minute.
Copy.
Executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing. It's all autonomous.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiation is verified.
All right, copy that. And we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily. And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis II. From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown. A lot of people ask about whether there's a launch button. There certainly is not.
Flight and Rock, our new T0 is 22:35:12.
Houston flight copies.
Rock copies.
22:35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system, great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts. Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization. There are the 4 RS-25s. 3 of them shuttle heritage, 1 of them built from shuttle parts. And there you see them moving. Now we're going to start moving the power from both the upper stage and the lower stage of the rocket to internal, taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
GLS is go for upper stage to internal power.
All right, power is removed from the rocket's upper stage, the ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis II crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power. There's no more hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
One minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
GLS is go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour. Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation, expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state, ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour. Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison. Team Eco 8 plus 02.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Carmen line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Wow. That's amazing, man. That's a lot of power pushing that rocket up there. Amazing. Well done, man. God bless America. That's crazy.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
That's pretty cool, man. I don't care what anybody says. Manuel, this is, people like you never evolve. You guys never move up with technology. You guys always stay behind. You know, this is the one thing that I tell Native Americans. It's like, you know, if you guys think that you can just make this country better by riding horses and hunting bisons, let me tell you what China's going to do for you. You better learn how to speak Chinese or better learn how to speak Russian, because if the United States is not what it is today, believe me, it will be Chinese or Russian. Let's not forget, not too long ago, we just bought Alaska from Russia. Canadians are more than happy to take over the United States territory as well. I know Native Americans that are in Canada that they will love to take away the Comanche territory. I know the Comanche is not going to allow that to happen, but nonetheless, if you think about this, you show the flexing power of the United States of America. If you don't understand what this means to our country, you're lost. You are lost. And it's just as Jacob said, you know what? Don't pay your taxes, Manuel. You probably don't even pay taxes. But still, you know, just don't pay your taxes. How about this, guys? How about we do this? How about we believe the Democrats want what's best for our country and let them take all the taxes away. No more taxes. And let's see how socialists create jobs and split the wealth amongst everybody. Okay. Subjects. Let me get here. No, not that. All right, so. And liftoff. All right, here we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's good. New York. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Who's calling? Who's calling?
BCJ.
BC, what's going on? What you think about the launch, man?
Man, I was on this live with this one brother, right? I think you might know him. I don't think I know him, but I want you to go frequent his live. I said, yo, my brother, what you do is you support Trump. I respect anybody's views. I'm a lefty, a Democrat, whatever y'all want to call it this country nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
But I told him, I said, well, if you don't like people's views and opinions, won't you do a call-in show? And I said, you know what, my brother, he lives in another state, and he does a call-in show. And you are afraid to do a call because you might get chewed out. Because he says all the off-the-wall shit. I know I'm trying to back with my cussing because I know my heart. And I said, brother, don't you know, okay, all countries, you have to have a passport to go to.
Yeah.
When you go to Canada, you just can't go to Canada. I live close to Canada.
Yeah, me too.
I can't just drive my car to Canada and say, I'm coming through this country. You need a passport to come to Canada. They're going to keep your ass if you try to come to Canada.
Yep.
If you go to Jamaica, you need a passport.
Yep.
If you go to England, passport.
Yep.
If you come to America, a passport.
Yep.
This stuff was emulated way before Trump took over, way before Biden, way before we were born, brother.
Yeah.
This stuff was emulated before we were born on this earth. It was emulated in 1776 when America was established. See, people don't know. They just jumped in parties. Oh, I'm a Democrat. Do you know your party history? Do you know how your country got started?
Yep.
Slavery was back in 1800s.
Yep.
Harriet Tubman came through this town, Rochester, New York, brother. Underground Railroad. She came through New York State to free the slaves. She was a pioneer. Rosa Parks was a pioneer. She did not want to give her seat up to the bus to the white man.
Yep.
No, she did. See, everybody don't know history, my brother.
Yep.
I don't even have a degree. I have a hood degree. East Side, Rochester, New York degree. I didn't go to college. The Bible says, let this mind be in you, which is in Christ Jesus. See, we're not supposed to worship no man on earth. I know this not a Bible lesson.
Yep.
I know this is
No, it's true. Yeah.
We're supposed to worship God first. God is a jealous God. I know you like Trump. I know you like, but God is a jealous God.
Yes,
If
sir.
we put Trump before God, something wrong with us. With
Yep,
you.
I
If
agree.
we put Obama before God, something wrong with me.
No, I agree.
No man can enter heaven, but only the one who do the will of my Father which is in heaven.
That's right.
No man can come to my Father except through Jesus. John 14.
Amen.
No man, the Bible says, study to show you something proven to God. Or what not even saying, right? You got divided word of truth. This is BCJ talking.
Yeah.
That wasn't the BCJ when I was fussing on your channel. I was like, you know what? We had to agree to disagree. That's what the Lord does. Even in the body of Christ, you have to agree to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing.
I had to get my phone was messed up at the time. I said I had to get another phone to call the show. Oh, you scared of? I'm not scared to call this show. So what? I'm a Democrat. I'm still call this show.
Nah, you know you're welcome in my show, brother. Yeah, you know you're welcome.
That dude,
man.
That black man. I said, man, you sold out, man. That's your business when you support. I was always taught MYOB, mind your own business. That's your business. That's what you believe. That's your business. But my brother has I told him straight up. My brother got a call-in show. He let people call in and voice their opinions. You don't have a call-in because you afraid that people are gonna tell you what time it is. That's all I gotta say, my brother. Have a good
Yep.
show. God bless you.
Hey, be blessed, man. Take care.
All right, my brother.
I got a brother from New York. BC has become my brother here on this channel. Let's go ahead and have somebody else call in. Let's see. Let's go. Mask off. Give me a call. Let me tell me why you think my show is a Nazi. I want to know. I want to know. Man, these guys really just they really love my channel, don't they? They really love my channel. Let's see. Where did I put you at? You guys know what happens. You guys know what happens when people come in and just the first thing they want to do is start making fun of my accent. I don't understand why, where this come from. Well, I think I do. So people like to take things out of context, okay? The comment that President Trump made when he was saying that he didn't want criminal illegal aliens in this country, okay? A lot of people automatically, as number one, and what everybody else knows, number one, everybody automatically thinks Mexicans, okay? They hear me speaking Spanish, they think I'm Mexican. After all these years in the United States of America, I have to say, yes, I am Mexican, but this is my flag from my country of birth. That is not what the Mexican flag looks like. But I'll go ahead and accept that. I'm Mexican. We're all Hispanic. You know, we're all mutts. Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, Palos Verdes. Yeah, you know, all kinds of different Indians, native Indians. But you know what? At the end of the day, what I understand from when Trump says that criminal illegal aliens, I know exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about illegal immigrants that come over here and become thieves, drug dealers, murderers, rapists, etc. And all those illegal immigrants that are in here, priority, they got to go. We don't want them here. But at the end of the day, the law of the land, immigration law, says that everybody that is here illegally, even those who stayed and overstayed their visas, have to be immediately deported. Now, if everybody cooperated, there wouldn't be no accidents or mishaps like in Minnesota. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, here's the phone number on the screen. You guys can call. You know, some people call in and they just like start cussing out and they waste their time. That's not what we want. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a real conversation. But before you make fun of my accent again, here you go. Revolution. Give me a call. Let's find out. Let's find out what you got. Now, you're not going to be on my show for an hour either. I will give you some time. So why don't you go ahead and give me a call? Let's hear what you got to say. I'll give you a chance. Everybody goes on my videos and says, oh, this guy just blocks everybody for speaking the truth. No, that's a lie right there. The reason why you get blocked is because you're over here not making a comment. You're just saying liar, liar, but you're not doing anything to say why we're liars. You just spew hate and you call us Nazis. Like, I don't understand how that. I don't know if you know what history is. When people hear nationalist, automatically you think racist. You guys are, I am so sorry, but you're retarded. It's just you got to be able to listen. If you have a real mental problem, I apologize about that. Maybe I should be a little bit more careful with the things that I say. Okay. Let's see. I don't hear a phone number. So unless you called before and you were a big jerk, you're probably blocked for life. Okay, that can be one thing. That could be one thing. Yeah, we put up with donkeys all day long. We really do. But we don't put up with repetitive stupidity. You know, you just call my mods liars, members liars, and you come in and spew all this hate, and that's not what we want. But I tell you what, while you make up your mind to call, let's take a listen to. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and show you. I'm going to show you a clip from Fox about Pam Bondi.
All right, let's get straight to the White House again.
I want to show you clips of the topics that are pinned on the chat.
And Peter Ducey is standing by. Peter, what are you hearing was the main frustration of President Trump's when it came to Pam Bondi, obviously making it very clear that the relationship was still intact, but he no longer wanted her to run the place?
Sandra, I can tell you that I phoned President Trump to ask him, once these reports started coming out, that the Attorney General had been told that her time, it was nearing the end of her time at the Justice Department, and the President said he was preparing some remarks. We think that it is going to be the official announcement about the Attorney General Bondi leaving the Justice Department. She will not be leaving the administration. They are going to find a different job for her. So President Trump thinks that she did a good job. President Trump still likes her, but at this time, he feels like Todd Blanche should be elevated in an interim role. So the plan, at least as of the last couple minutes, and a lot of things are changing, is to name Todd Blanche in an interim role as the country's top law enforcement officer running the Justice Department. We are hearing a lot of different things about why this might happen. We think President Trump will elaborate on that more. But when you talk to people here at the White House, it is very important to them, just to reiterate that there's not bad blood right now with Bondi leaving. And we know that she was in the front row at the president's remarks last night during his address to the nation. So she is somebody that he still wants to have around, but he wants Todd Blanche, who has been with the president during some of the hardest times of his political life, when he was dealing with all these many lawsuits during the 4 years in between his first term and his second term. Todd Blanche was right there with them, fighting on the president's defense, legal defense. And now Todd Blanche gets a crack, at least temporarily, as the Attorney General of the United States.
Peter, we were just showing the video, a reminder to our viewers yesterday, when the president appeared at the Supreme Court to hear the government's arguments in his case. He arrived with Pam Bondi.
Yeah, I wonder what they talked about in the car, because that was just more than 24 hours ago. And again, it seems like she and the president still have a good relationship, but she will no longer be his Attorney General.
Yeah, and I know certainly just in the last few days, President Trump has praised her and said Attorney General Pam Bondi, he said, is a wonderful person and she is doing a great job. So certainly still support for her there. When you look back at her time as Attorney General, what sort of stands out to you?
You know, she is somebody who was pretty much in lockstep with President Trump on just about all of his legal priorities, but she wound up taking as much incoming as anybody from congressional Democrats for every time that they would haul her before Congress for whatever the issue was. It seemed like she had to be the one that was taking the most incoming, and she never really deviated from the line that folks here at the White House were using. But it just, they want to shake things up. And we expect to hear some specifics about why they want to shake things up. But all that we know at this moment is that the president feels like it is time.
Yeah. And that he informed her last night before the speech. So, Peter, you can obviously hear the media fired up on all sides of you there at the White House. Is the Todd Blanche an interim replacement? Obviously, he's the deputy AG. Or will he step in for the time being? Or is that, do you think, a full-time replacement for Bondi?
I am told that Todd is going to be the temporary replacement, the interim replacement. There are some names that are out there. The New York Times is reporting that Lee Zeldin has talked to the president about the possibility. We know that there are also a bunch of former state attorney generals who are serving as Republicans in the Senate right now. We don't know how seriously President Trump would look at any of them, or if there's somebody from outside the administration, not an elected lawmaker, who the president might like for this. But it is an important job. And the president's going to have some time because he is elevating Todd Blanche, somebody that he has known for a long time, somebody that he really trusts, at least temporarily. And as for what comes next for Bondi, we don't know. But she's not just going home to Florida. She is going to have some other job within the administration We don't know what that is, and we don't know if she knows what that is, because this is all happening just in the last couple minutes.
All right. There's your Pam Bondi video. If you have a call, you have a question about that, you can give me a call. Let's have a conversation. And if you haven't called in to be a jackass, you shouldn't be blocked. You should be allowed to call. So, Cal, I don't think you want to be here today, do you? I mean, there's only 30 people watching, but I don't think you want to be one of those 30 people. American Constitutions. Hammer, you don't even live in the United States of America. Why are you talking about the Constitution? American Constitution is not human rights. No, it's not. Let me tell you why it's not just human rights. It does have human rights, but it's not human rights constitution. You understand the difference? There is human rights, and then there's legal rights. Yes, they are both in there, but the Constitution are not human rights. It's a big difference. And you don't live in the States, so who cares? Hey, well, then get your snowflake out of here then. Shit, man. I ain't got patience for you either, man. Get out of here. I don't even know why the hell you came here if you don't want to come over here and behave and have a conversation. Go suck your big thumb over there in your rich house and let the poor just go hungry. That's the kind of person you are. You lost my respect. I thought we had an understanding, but you're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. I got to find that song. All right, here's this. EPA administrator announces a landmark set of actions to safeguard the nation's drinking water. For the first time in the program's history, EPA is designating both microplastics and pharmaceuticals as priority contaminant groups. We are probably, let me see how much time. We got time. We're going to listen to the actual remarks from Bobby, and we'll get to hear that in a bit here. Let me see. Who else? Anybody want to call in? These people don't know that they can call the number here. It's free. No debates. Just call in, ask a question, make a comment. It's all good. No debates. You want to debate? $100 if you want to debate me. That's the new rule. You guys gotta earn respect here. Let's see. Let me see if let's see. Dennis Stephen Wright. That's 10 years ago. Is that the one? Let's see what this one is.
Now me and Smooth was a-hanging at the Brooksville Rodeo. When we left our worn-out camping chairs to see more of the show, we saw a topless woman. She had a real nice pair. When we got back, some dumbass stole our worn-out camping chairs. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, #1, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life. My wife and I were in a bar just the other night. Two rednecks started arguing, got into a fight. The police came and said, Now cool it, you inbreds. But they didn't, so the popo cracked them on their dumbass heads. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide, first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
This is democracy.
I saw a girl texting while she drove her little car. She was driving fast and steering with her knees spread real far. She never even saw it when she hit that concrete pole. Now she's texting up in heaven with some other dumb assholes. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide, first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life. A blue-haired geezer stopped me in the parking lot today. Said my dogs can't be locked up in my truck that away. I stared at the nosy old bag like she was a big moron. I said, you dumbass, can't you see the air conditioner's on? You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide, first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
Dennis, thank you very much, man. Kudos, guys. Don't forget to visit Dennis Stephen Wright. This from 10 years ago. Credit in my description. That is so funny. That is so funny. I might have to clip it. I might have to clip it and use it. I'll tell you what. I might have to clip it and I might have to play it. I might have to play it every time somebody gets blocked for being a dumbass. Yep. Description has the credit for the name, title of the song, and of course to Dennis Stevens. Right. I hope that that's the right name because that's what I gave credit to. I'm not sure if that was the right. Let's see. 2010 release. You know what? Let me add a couple of the descriptions here just to make sure that we cover all of our tracks. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Give full credit. Give full credit to YouTube. You guys know that I'm not getting paid for that, so I don't really make money from YouTube on this kind of content anyway. Most of the income comes from supporters like you, members. Those that become members every month. Those super chats. Those whatever little emojis you guys throw out there, those are the ones that no, bro, you don't want to like SoCal. He's a jackass. He is a jackass. Let me tell you why. So I had a conversation with him. I thought a decent conversation with SoCal. The problem with him is that, see, he's middle class. He has a house on the beach. And so every time that we talked about, what can we do to help the economy, right? And when I say help the economy, I'm really looking out for the lower class, the poor, the hardworking Americans that are on the poor class. And he doesn't care. He said, oh, that doesn't affect me. And that right there, bro, I got no respect for him. You can't just say tax the rich because he's not under the category of rich, but yet he's in this warm, comfy zone, right? He's not wealthy enough to pay the high-end tax, but he's not poor enough to suffer the consequences of the economy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I have no respect for him. No respect. Yeah, that was dedicated to SoCal right there. And that's my problem, brother. Ah, man. Well, there's the phone number, guys. Come on. You guys got to call. You got to be able to, back it up. Here is a problem. You know what I'm saying? I know, Wedo. I trust me, bro. I've given him so many chances. It's just he doesn't get it, bro. Thank you, Cutting Edge. Los Angeles County Abuse. The FBI has raided the home of psychologist and nurse for an alleged hospice fraud scheme. According to CBS, J.D. Vance is doing it. Yeah, baby, let's go. Oh, I gotta find this, bro. Wait a minute. I might have to get. I'm gonna try to remember the link to this guy. But I have to get those news in here. Let me see. Oh man, that's the wrong one. Come on, let me find it, brother. Man, I got a song stuck in my head now. I got a song stuck in my head, bro. Let's see. I don't see that. I don't see that on the news here, bro. Let's see.
This is the FBI. We have a warrant.
looks like several people have been arrested. Count 1, 2, 3, at least 3 people. This is for alleged hospice fraud. The husband and wife are accused of bilking taxpayers for about $7 million. The mortality rate of their hospice over the last 5 years was just 2.3%.
A big announcement a short time ago in this operation, of course, tied to the vice president's task force to eliminate fraud. Officials say they have a zero-tolerance policy for anyone out there accused of defrauding American taxpayers.
This morning, we executed Operation Never Say Die. Federal agents from multiple agencies descended on fraudsters throughout Southern California, executing multiple arrests and search warrants. We arrested 8 defendants, including medical providers such as nurses and doctors. We are announcing charges against 15 separate individuals who engaged in healthcare fraud, resulting in losses close to $60 million.
Now, these arrests include the owners of hospices. The first assistant U.S. attorney, Bill Saley, alleges billed taxpayers millions of dollars to serve the terminally ill who weren't sick at all. More than $50 million in intended healthcare fraud losses charged. Those defendants include 3 nurses, a chiropractor, a psychologist. Officials claim that they ran fraudulent hospice care facilities that drained Medicare by using individuals who didn't have terminal illnesses as beneficiaries, all facing years in federal prison. According to the Justice Department, each year the U.S. loses billions of dollars to healthcare fraud, with American taxpayers picking up the costs. We're talking spikes in premiums, co-payments, and also taxes. Operation Never Say Die is going after those who abuse the system. In this case, allegations that the defendants turned hospice care into a money-making operation. 2 of the defendants, for example, a 66-year-old psychologist, Gladwin Gill, and his wife, Amilu Gill, a nurse from Covina, allegedly ran a Glendale-based hospice care facility and schemed to defraud Medicare by, quote, paying alleged kickbacks for the referral of patients who were not dying. The couple allegedly laundered the money and then spent the funds on things like mortgage payments, car payments, personal bills, trips, and also dining out. So a lot in that criminal complaint that we continue to look through, other defendants named, and all.
Other couple, the Gills. This one's particularly egregious because they are medical providers. Gladwin Gill is a doctor, he's a psychologist. His wife, Miss Gill, is a registered nurse, and they operated what's known as 626 Hospice in Glendale. Interesting enough, they both have a criminal history for tax evasion, and so they're not actually allowed to open up a hospice. So what did they do? They used their daughter's name to open the hospice. So they're operating this fraudulent hospice under their daughter's name, and the nurse would fabricate and add things to the medical file to make it look like the beneficiaries were terminally ill when they weren't. This particular hospice submitted more than $5.2 million in fraudulent claims, and Medicare actually paid out more than $4 million. And so again, it's another fraudulent hospice. Their discharge rate of survivors is above 70%. All 22 beneficiaries that we spoke with had no terminal illness. They did not qualify for hospice care. And so what's interesting about this case is it's been on the radar of the federal government for a while. I was talking to Dr. Oz about this. Search warrant was actually executed in 2022, but nothing happened with these cases. Nothing's happened with fraud under the prior administration. And you'll have to ask them why, but presumably it just wasn't a priority. And so we are making fraud a priority. So quickly, within the last year, we've been working at lightning speed to put these cases together, and you're seeing the fruits of that today. And I think you'll be seeing many more of these operations in the months ahead. And then this was another couple that was arrested this morning. This couple tells a slightly different story. Let's see here. Nita Palma 76 years old, 3-time convicted healthcare fraudster who's actually in federal prison. She's charged in a new case because she perpetuated a new hospice fraud while she's in prison. That is how egregious and bold some of these fraudsters are. She's charged with opening and running a hospice care company with her husband in Glendale. She did so despite being legally barred from running a hospice facility and being a convicted felon. Her husband, Adolfo Katbagan, was arrested this morning. And they both face decades in prison for their role in this scheme. Together, they submitted over a 20-month span of invoices for $4.8 million in fraudulent hospice care claims. They received $4.2 million from Medicare. So again, I just want to highlight a few examples of the people that were arrested this morning. Look, this is not just a fraud problem. This is a California problem. We want to be very frank about this. The federal government is the purse. All the money comes from the federal government, but it's administered through the states. California is responsible for issuing hospice licenses. They're responsible for regulating doctors and nurses. And the problem that you see in California is that there is no vetting and there's no checking. They do not care because it's not their money, is the way the state of California looks at it. And so in California, I call California the kingdom of fraud, and Gavin Newsom reigns over this kingdom here. You have hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud. If you look at the EDD fraud, the SNAP benefits fraud, the health hospice fraud, the homeless fraud that my office has done, one thing is in common. No vetting, no checking. Money goes out the door with no questions asked, no receipts, no checking up on them. In fact, and maybe Dr. Oz will talk about this, California's own auditor said they need to put better regulations in place so they can have oversight over the hospices. They were required by January 1st of this year to adopt emergency regulations cracking down on fraudulent hospices. That deadline was January 1st. They did not pass the guidelines. You'll have to ask the governor, Governor Newsom, and the Department of Public Health why they refuse to issue proper guidelines and have proper oversight on hospices. So when the state says that they are taking fraud seriously, it's a bold-faced lie. They are not taking it seriously. They're not passing the regulations, and they're not sending people to prison. And that's what we're doing here today with this task force. We're providing the oversight that's been missing from California for a very long time. All right, with that, I want to invite Dr. Oz to come up and say a few words. Thank you, Dr. Oz.
Thank you, Billy. So I spent the morning together with a SWAT team that met at 5 a.m. and went after, in our case, the Gills at 6 a.m. with a carefully choreographed effort to shut down fraudsters who have been at it for an earliest recollection from law enforcement around 2018, indictments in 2022. And I want to applaud the U.S. Attorney, Billy Salen, the entire team here, and Colin for leading this task force, because what you're witnessing right now is a seismic shift in how the Trump administration is going to change what was going on in the prior Biden administration. And we spoke to Vice President Vance this morning. There was a task force meeting. The first one was last week. As you all know, we had a press conference the day after the State of the Union when he was announced, leading the task force to announce actions by CMS, which included deferring of payments to Minnesota and a nationwide moratorium on durable medical equipment. However, hospice in Southern California is an entire different level of fraud. And these law enforcement leaders and the brave men and women that I was able to witness this morning go after these criminals are doing God's work, and they're going to be able to do it more effectively because there's been a demand made by the president and the vice president that is an all-of-government effort. All of us have to talk to each other, which means CMS, which runs insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, CHIP, the ACA, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, all the insurance public elements need to communicate very swiftly with law enforcement, with Treasury, with everybody else whose fingerprints might actually be helpful in figuring out the problems. Now, the accused criminals in this case, as Billy mentioned, are a doctor and a nurse. Shameful that licensed professionals will be involved in this. And we've talked about the monetary costs, and I will focus on those as well, but the human cost should not be forgotten. If you're willing to steal money from the American people, from patients. You're willing to sacrifice their health, and you're willing to give up their lives. And we have witnessed that with multiple individuals who have come forward now that they feel like it's safe to go up, stand up, and be held for what they have witnessed in their lives. The affordability crisis that was highlighted by Colin is a real one. $100 billion minimum just in health care from Medicare and Medicaid is our estimate. The Medicare Trust Fund, the fund that will make sure Medicare is there for you if you're watching right now. All of you are working your tails off, hoping Medicare will be with you. We would double the life expectancy of the Medicare Trust Fund if we could cut out the fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicare alone. Working families across America would benefit from having more money to pay towards all the things that can sometimes plague your family, and your health is your most valuable thing. For, folks who are sick only want one thing in the world: to get their health back. And that's what we're going to give them by making sure the money is in the system to pay for them. California hospice, to give you some hard numbers, 1,800 hospices in California. Is that the right number? When nationwide we have just over 6,000 hospices. So why would almost 1/3 of all the hospices in the whole country be in Los Angeles County? I'm not talking about all of California, just right here. And the U.S. Attorney is absolutely right. That is, you should be incredulous. We are, and we're going after these folks. We believe half of them are fraudulent. Half of the 1,800 hospices should not be in business if we are able to identify the red flags. And that's what we're basing these numbers on. These are not random assumptions. World experts at CMS say if you've got 100% or near survival, certainly if you've got a survival over 50% for a population that's supposed to have passed in 6 months, you've got a problem. If you're clustered in the same buildings as other crooks, if you're sharing employee numbers and license numbers, if you've got a small number of people, less than 50 members, you do that because you can hide what's really going on when they're small, because you don't have reporting obligations. J-1 visa holders, there are lots of things going on in California that just are not rational, and we're going to take them out. These defendants that you heard about, there were 7 hospices. I want to pat them on the back. The entire first 4 years of really looking at this issue since 2021, when the report came out from the Auditor General here in California, the entire first 4 years, there were 4 hospices that were revoked. 4 hospices. 7 of them were criminal charges today. So you see a dramatic and appropriate shift. There are other people involved that the U.S. Attorney is going after. Fareeha Jhavarian, probably read about last night, was had her billing privileges revoked by CMS yesterday. She had generated $127 million of billing. And for some reason, although everyone knew that there was a problem there, her 113 agencies that she worked with, 113 agencies, one doctor is working with, had billed over the last 3 years $127 million. CMS is going to suspend payments to stop money from leaving the U.S. That's our goal. We're going to review every single hospice in California to make sure that they're all appropriate, and we hope to do that expeditiously. We'll do it this year. And I'm going to make an announcement today, because I want to throw the gauntlet down for Governor Newsom. When asked about the hospice fraud in California, that again was in his own administration was involved in barking how bad our issue was in 2021, he responds by saying that he's been responsible for taking out 280 of these hospices. In the 10 weeks since we first were together in front of you, in the 10 weeks we have taken out 221 hospices already. 221. We will surpass the governor's achievements in the first 4 years within the month, we believe. And so we need to get serious, and we don't see that happening in California. The ecosystem is rotten. We've uncovered lots of other derivatives that happen when you don't take care of this fraud in the way it needs to be done. And I'll give you a good example. Your neighbors in Nevada are suffering because the fraudsters here are now going there, and they have a 7-fold increase in hospice because when people get a little chilled in California, they head there. So how are we going to do this? And all the government approaches you've heard. If you're defrauding Medicare, listen carefully, if you're defrauding Medicare, start running, because we are coming for you. Don't walk, run away. The folks that are on stage here and all over the country under the leadership of President Trump and Vice President Vance and his task force are not going to tolerate it. None of us can afford the luxury of being sloppy about this. And I want to highlight something that the U.S. Attorney Sagan just mentioned. That document that he showed you, that was a health and safety code in the state of California made in response to an Auditor General report that was supposed to be in effect on January 1st that would have helped to clean up the mess here. For some reason that I don't understand and no one has been able to explain to me, on December 19th, 11 days before it's supposed to take effect, it was withdrawn. I'd like someone in Sacramento to explain why that happened. Why is the state of California not willing to help deal with the theft of federal tax dollars? Because although we pay 2/3 of the bill, the taxpayers in California pay the other third. Why wouldn't you want the help? For Medicaid and for hospice, of course, it's all on our back. Doesn't make it any better. God bless you. Thanks for your work.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Akil Davis. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office. As you've heard already, early this morning, the FBI and many of our partners up here served a series of arrest warrants throughout the Southland, covering cities such as Covina, Anaheim, Glendale, Lakewood, and even as far away as Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, as part of Operation Never Say Die. In all its disturbing forms, fraud historically does not get the attention it deserves, so I'm glad to see a national spotlight on this pervasive crime problem. The reality is that everyone, all of us here, everyone pays for healthcare fraud. As health insurance premiums, co-payments, taxes increase, our benefits decrease. The FBI has recognized the Southern California region as a high-risk environment for hospice-related healthcare fraud. So while it is not a new problem for us, I'm thankful to have the support you see here today. Many of these defendants, some who you've heard of already, are nurses as well as psychologists, not only violated the respective oaths they made, but stole money intended for people who are terminally ill. One defendant I want to highlight again, I know that you've heard of many of them. One I want to highlight, Nita Palma, convicted 3 times, is alleged to have brazenly operated 3 fraudulent hospice facilities while free on bond and awaiting trial in a separate fraud case. Many of the defendants used the proceeds for their mortgage payments, car payments, international travel, luxury items, or they sent money overseas. I'd like to thank our partners here today, HHS, OIG, the Department of Labor, IRS, and of course, the United States Attorney's Office. If you are aware of anyone soliciting you or others to participate in healthcare fraud or being offered cash payments in order to use a name, address, and a false claim, please call your nearest FBI office. You can reach us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Now I'd like to turn it over to SAC of HHS OIG, Rob Breeden.
Thank you and good morning. Our investigators at HHS OIG and our analysts work tirelessly to expose wrongdoing and protect the Medicare program and its enrollees. I'd like to thank them for the service and recognize them for their efforts. I'd also like to thank CMS Administrator Dr. Oz for bringing national attention to this problem, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, Mr. Seeley, for fully backing our efforts. As demonstrated today, we will continue working with our law enforcement partners to pursue aggressively anyone who unlawfully profits from federal health care programs. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Diaz-Pizito. I am the Inspector General for the Department of Labor. There is no question that fraud is a tax on the American people. And I think one thing that hasn't been mentioned this morning is the fact that many of the law enforcement agencies up here, including inspectors general offices throughout the United States of America, have consistently investigated fraud. The difference today is that we have leaders. We have common sense leaders like our U.S. Attorney, like Colin McDonald, like Dr. Oz, like Vice President Vance and President Trump, who have clearly stated that no fraud is too small and that we will hunt, we will prosecute, and we will put those taking advantage of the American people behind bars. And there is no question that in places like here in California, in my home state of New York, in Minnesota and Illinois, failed leadership and broken or no guardrails has led to individuals taking advantage of these resources. One of the things you hear over and over again from our partners is the fact that these people have been convicted over and over again. It is a revolving door of justice. But now we have leaders who are willing to listen to law enforcement professionals, who want to prosecute these cases and want to hold people accountable. That's what the American people should want. It shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And the fact that President Trump has made it very clear that the war on fraud is paramount should tell all Americans what he believes in. I want to thank everyone who participated today, and I especially want to thank the team from the Department of Labor Inspector General's office. They was out this morning in hunt of 2 perpetrators, arrested 1 who not only took advantage of health insurance resources, but also violated the trust and took money from labor unions for well over $10 million. A job well done to everyone here. And to everyone that is listening at home, remember, as everyone has said, if you are committing fraud, if you are taking advantage of the American people, sleep with one eye open, because we are investigating and we are coming for you. I think HSI is next.
Good morning. My name is Dwayne Grant. I'm a Deputy Special Agent in charge for HSI Los Angeles. And I'm here to talk about electronic benefit transfer benefits and fraud that happens in the EBT space. Since 2002, we've been investigating fraudulent activity in transnational criminal organizations that are perpetrating this fraud throughout the community. In basic principle, these individuals place skimming devices on credit card machines within the community, stealing the data off those cards, creating cloned cards, and at the beginning of the month, when the EBT benefits are deposited, they steal those funds from the beneficiaries. Over the past 4 years, $310 million has been stolen from recipients of SNAP in the community. This is a problem that is perpetrated because while fellow law enforcement and the law enforcement community in general have pleaded with the state of California to put effective measures in place to protect these cards, the measures that have been put in place are ineffective, and the fraud continues today. This morning, we arrested 3 individuals and seized multiple phones, over 100 cloned cards, as well as cash that they withdrew from accounts. Over the last year, we've arrested 49 individuals. 42 of those are foreign nationals, mostly from Romania. The Romanian culture seeks this area. They seek out loopholes in the laws, loopholes in benefit structure, and they exploit them. And until the state of California can shore up those loopholes, this fraud will continue. I want to thank our partners in this investigation from the U.S. Secret Service, Health and Human Services Office of the Inspector General, U.S. Attorney's Office, and our local partners. That includes Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, Los Angeles Police Department, Covina PD, El Segundo PD, Hermosa Beach PD, Irwindale PD, and Torrance PD. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So basically, the big picture is the party's over, at least in the state of California. So the gravy train's over, the party's over, and we're coming for fraudsters. The magnitude of the problem is so immense, it's large. We have to put all our research together and figure out how we're going to tackle the worst of the worst and how we're going to shut down the fraud from beginning in the first place. With that, we'll take a few questions. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ursaley, I'm Ross Palumbo from CBS LA. You're aware that CBS News did an investigation identifying more than 700 of these potentially fraudulent hospice locations. We've also done an investigation on more than 800 fraudulent businesses established using legal immigrant identities, but then registered through the state of California to make them appear to be more legitimate. The governor will not speak about that. The Secretary of State will not comment on any safeguards in place to prevent this from happening. What are your thoughts about the state's role in that crime, and what can you do about that?
One thing I want to be clear, this is the beginning, not the end. You're going to see more of these charges, more arrests, more of the takedowns. You're going to see them clustered every other month or so. So this is not the beginning, this is the end. We have many, many, many open, active criminal investigations. I'm not going to talk about any specific case, but what you're talking about is exactly what we highlighted. California has totally given up its responsibility to make sure that fraud isn't happening in its territory. So you're right, California is basically enabling the fraudsters by handing them the keys to the Medicare piggy bank. Because when California hands someone a hospice license, that allows them to access the Medicare system and to build a Medicare system. Without that, this fraud could not occur. So why California does not want to clamp down on how it conducts oversight, I can't tell you why. They were supposed to pass regulations to address just that. Again, January 1st, they failed to do that. So there's a reason I call Gavin Newsom the king of fraud, because he reigns over more fraud than I think we've seen in the history of the United States of America. Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud have gone out the door under his reign as the king of fraud. So I don't really know why he does what he does, but that's what he's doing.
Will you now look into this fraud that we've uncovered with this new investigation?
Many active criminal investigations. I think we had a tip line. Did we put it out? 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you have information, send it to them. We are looking at, again, many investigations. I won't talk about anything coming up in the pipe. Yes, Joe.
All right, so there's a mention that there were some Romanian nationals arrested. How many of those arrested are from other countries? And also, how many have been arrested? And should anybody in the state be held accountable for this legally?
So a couple things, and thanks for asking. What HSI talked about, the SNAP benefits fraud, those arrests are separate and apart from this operation today. So those arrests today are in addition to the folks that we were discussing in the hospice fraud. That is the SNAP benefits, the food stamps that are being drained from people who need them by fraudsters. And the reason they're being drained is because the state, again, has failed to put in basic security measures so people cannot skim the EBT cards, duplicate them, clone them, and take the money from people's accounts. And before, the state hasn't really cared, because if you got defrauded, the federal government would just replenish the funds and you get your money. But those days are over. And so California needs to do better. As far as that group of defendants, they are of Romanian descent. The folks today were primarily of South Asian descent, I believe. There were two, at least, foreign nationals, one from the Philippines, one from North Korea. So again, there is no one foreign national group that has a monopoly on fraud. We see this in different foreign communities.
You have provided a hotline and victim regeneration. You're providing a hotline and are inviting people to report these type of crimes.
Yes.
Most of them are taking advantage of immigrants, whether legal or illegal.
Yes.
What would be the message to those immigrants that might be afraid to contact federal authorities in lieu of this race?
I will tell you, when it comes to immigration enforcement, we do target violent and criminal illegal immigrants. That is the focus of our immigration enforcement. However, anyone who's here unlawfully is subject to our laws until Congress changes that. So we do want to hear from victims. I mean, do you have anything to add on that? Or
you can remain anonymous, tips.fbi.gov, to those immigrant communities that are fearful of that. We need to know about all of these frauds so that we can appropriately address them and investigate them.
But the FBI's not gonna, they're not looking to use that tip line to deport people, if that's your question.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Question for Mr. Assimilate. Would you be able to tell us the percentage of cases being prosecuted right now that began under this administration, and perhaps the number of cases that were prosecuted for suspected hospice fraud under the first Trump administration?
Yeah. I don't have the numbers from our numbers didn't go back that far. What I can tell you is under the prior administration, I think we found 4 cases, hospice cases of fraud in this charges.
In the last 4 years, 4 cases of hospice were prosecuted. But you're asking a question about the first Trump administration. A lot of what happened during hospice fraud really started to take off during COVID. Several things happened at once. People working outside the workplace, easier to game systems, but we also taught an entire generation of fraudsters that the government was an easy target with some of the lax regulations around the money that was doled out during COVID. Now, it was an emergency, we understand, and can look back in time and criticize it, but we definitely made mistakes in passing money out, and some of the individuals that were arrested today may have been involved in some of those scams as well. But once you give people a taste of fraud, and if there's a government that's not enforcing its own rules, they'll come back for more and more and more. And we're seeing that across healthcare. And just to follow up on the question about foreign nationals, there are many foreign national groups involved in fraud across America. The problem with durable medical equipment suppliers in South Florida, where we have twice as many of these suppliers as McDonald's, is primarily a Cuban population. They do flee back to Cuba when they're chased. We have a problem with Chinese government involvement. We believe in Flushing, New York, and some of these social adult daycare center problems that they're having there. We have other fraudulent groups here in California. You know about the Somalis in Minnesota. So we have Russian gangsters in Philadelphia. There are foreign governments that are targeting the soft underbelly of the U.S. social safety care system. We're a loving people. All great people protect their most vulnerable. Because we're a great nation, we'll do that as well. Other people are taking advantage of us, and if they're not foreign nationals, they at least don't have our values, because they're willing to steal from our most vulnerable. And again, if you're willing to steal people's money, you will steal their health. You won't even think about it.
Mr. Saleh, you mentioned a search warrant was executed in 2022, and then little happened between then and now. Can you explain more about why that happened?
Yeah. It's really simple. It comes down to one word. That's leadership. Leadership matters, and so when you have, the president and the vice president have said, focus on fraud, then we reorient our resources to do that. So unfortunately, I can't tell you why, but under the prior administration, fraud was not the focus. Government fraud was not a priority. So the case just sort of languished. I know as Rob is here. I mean, you've been with HHS OIG a long time. Have you ever seen this much work in this space?
I can tell you cases have their own personality. They progress at their own speed. Every case is unique, so I can't comment on one case versus the next case. I can tell you we're vigilant. If we see something going on, we act. We don't hesitate. But you don't always see that from the public side. But behind the scenes, we are acting on every tip we receive.
Gigi Graciette with Fox News here in Los Angeles, Fox 11 News.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to comment on this. We're just getting word and we're live with the president letting Pam Bondi go, effectively firing her. Would you like to comment on that?
I don't know anything about that. I've been up here with you. Yes, Joe.
Yes, but sir, you mentioned her in the press conference earlier. Is this a blow to you that now she's leaving?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to comment on anything the president may or may not have just done. So, yes.
Are any of these arrests connected to that area in Van Nuys where Dr. Oz filmed a video saying it was a hotbed for fraud?
This particular group of defendants is not. That is not that location. But again, I'll just say we have many active investigations going on. I can't comment on any specific case.
Right. Two more questions.
Yes.
Just a quick follow-up for Dr. Oz as well. Can you respond to community concerns that said that video was discriminatory in any way to the immigrant groups there?
I was stating the facts as they've been explained to me, and we have a lot of evidence of where the fraud is just looking at the numbers. If you have hundreds of hospices in a small area, you should be suspicious because it's not naturally what happens with hospice care. And we're going to pursue the law and try to do the best as we should to make sure the American people are protected, but even more so from my perspective as a doctor, the folks are protected with regard to their health, because some of these systems are not designed to take care of human beings. And if you saw some of the horror stories where we deal with every single day, folks, pushed in the hospice erroneously. They give up their real insurance. They lose Medicare when they go to hospice. Then they no longer have coverage. So there are lots of victims to these crimes.
Last question, Joe.
Yeah, in Minnesota there was a pause in payments for some federal funds. Has there been any conversation about that here in California? And following up from before, can anybody in the state here be held responsible or facing legal consequences with this?
You answer the first one.
The process that took place in Minnesota is being examined in other states as well. We've sent a letter asking for information. We're now looking at issues that we need to follow up on.
Sir, do you have any comment on Pam Bondi, Dr. Oz?
Let me just answer Joe's question real quick about holding people in the state responsible. Nobody's above the law. If we find evidence in our investigation that anyone within the state system was facilitating the fraud or otherwise benefited personally from the fraud, you bet you they will be arrested and charged by this administration, without a doubt. Now, a lot of what you're seeing, though, is just flat out malpractice, malfeasance. It's malpractice. The state just doesn't want to do anything about the fraud. But we will work these cases up. We start with folks at the bottom level of the fraud. And you know what? They're facing a lot of time. They may want to cooperate. That's how these things work sometimes. And that's when we'll learn about potential insiders. But that does take time. And again, no one was looking at this until we all got here. So with that, thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you. The press release is
Ay, ay, ay. Bro, I waste my best speeches. I waste my best speeches on mute. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I say, if you are new to my channel, thank you for being here, visiting. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And if you want to support me beyond, please don't forget to be a member, where you can have member-only chats. And also remember that if you are new here, you don't know, but this is going to be a channel that has been created so that we can, in the near future, hopefully before next year, so that we can have some charities being created here, like free lunches, in general, for some of you who can volunteer, or if you can monetary donate and stuff like that. It'll be fantastic. As a member, we will go ahead and give you all the information about the charity once it's created, and you guys will get any update or information on how funds are being used, etc. We don't want to be part of the government on this sort of charity. So I hope that you will think about it and you become part of my channel, and that, we can actually do something for our community. We're here in Washington State. If you are in Washington State and you want to join my channel, please do so, and shoot me a message at dennisahora@gmail.com. If you guys don't know my email account yet, you should be able to see that on one of my posts or in my profile. Thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and continue going to birthright citizenship. The lines have been available. Nobody wants to call. But here's another take from Jesse Waters on citizenship, and I agree with him.
The highest court's deciding who gets to be an American, and the left's already turning it into a circus. The court's hearing whether Trump can limit birthright citizenship for children of mothers here illegally, or short-term visas, or just visitors. It's a huge deal. So 47 showed up in person, and the left lost it. Here's a Democrat congresswoman, quote, "So effing effed up, I'll pray they F him to his face." They say he's intimidating the court, but there's a seat for presidents in that room. And justices sit in Congress for the State of the Union, so no one calls that intimidation. Here's the big issue: birth tourism. It's not rare, it's an industry. Fly into the United States, have a baby, fly out with a passport. China is one of the biggest players. In 2023, nearly 1 in 10 births in this country were to non-citizens. So you live here, follow the rules, pay into the system. They fly in, use it, and leave you with the bill. The argument against Trump all hinges on one phrase: subject to the jurisdiction. The left says that means if you're here, you count. But that's not how it was written or understood. Back then, it was simple. If you're born here, you're loyal here. You're not just passing through. You're not here temporarily. You're not still holding allegiance to another country or tribe or king. Alito cut through it today. If you can be removed at any time, you don't really have a home here.
Normally, you would think that a person who is subject to arrest at any time and removal could not establish domicile. But we have an unusual situation here because our immigration laws have been ineffectively and in some instances unenthusiastically enforced by federal officials.
And that is a huge difference. And this is why I argue the same argument about birthright citizenship. They do not fall under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. The children fall under the jurisdiction of the parents' nationality. And that is a big difference on birthright citizenship. Constitution is not for the world. The Constitution was created for we the people. Those who are we the people are American citizens. not illegal immigrants. If you are if you're able to be deported because you don't belong in this country, that means that you do not live under our jurisdiction. Because when you get deported, you get sent back to your jurisdiction, meaning your government, where you come from, that who has authority over you, not the United States of America. I don't understand why it's so hard to understand. Now, when it comes to the 14th Amendment and you start talking, the people say, oh, don't forget Asians. Well, let's remember that the issue with the Chinese migrants, they were residents. They were permanently domiciled in the United States of America, making their son a legal American citizen. That doesn't mean every illegal immigrant.
And that's the problem. The law isn't being enforced. No one's being removed. People come here illegally. They have a bunch of babies. Then they've got a spot in the system for good. It's ludicrous. Just like Ketanji Brown Jackson.
I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, you know, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance. Doesn't that explain why both temporary residents and undocumented people would have that kind of quote-unquote allegiance just by virtue of being in the United States?
Okay, that's the argument? I should not feel smarter than a justice, okay? A bad hombre steals my wallet on my way home and now he qualifies for citizenship? That's not how a country works. That's not how any country works. This is the Democrats' plan. They encourage mass migration. They loosen the border. You show up, have a baby, cash in, stack the census with foreigners, and beef up Democrat House seats. Now, the court might not side with Trump on this, not because he's wrong, but because they'll say a president can't fix this alone. It's got to be Congress. Does anyone have any faith in Congress? Peter Schweitzer is the author of The Invisible Coup. Peter, the Chinese abuse this systematically. How do they operate?
Yeah, Jesse, it's industrial scale. The Chinese Communist Party about 12, 13 years ago started explaining to the Chinese elite in the People's Daily, in official publications, hey, guess what? Your kids can get U.S. citizenship if you do this. And a massive industry was born. There are now more than 1,000 companies in China that advertise openly in that country that say, hey, pay us, say, $80,000. We will get you into the United States, get that birth certificate when your child is born, and we will fly you and the child back when the child is able to fly a few days later. So it is a massive effort. It is an organized effort. These are members of the Chinese elite, and the numbers are mind-boggling. The Solicitor General, gave these figures in the Supreme Court. Those are numbers from my book. The belief is that there's between 1 million and 1.5 million Chinese nationals that are, quote-unquote, U.S. citizens being raised in China right now. That means they're going to be able to vote when they turn 18 years old, and they're going to have a whole bunch of other rights. And when they turn 21, Jesse, they can sponsor their parents and other family members to get permanent resident status in the United States.
Yeah, and they can work for defense contractors. They could work for the government. They could conduct all sorts of sabotage and espionage. The Mexican factor. We've seen this. Waves come in, they have a baby, they work, but they're on welfare. Their children start voting. This is being abused this way from the South as well.
100%. And the Democrats did a study in the 1990s, found 85% of new immigrants, when they get the opportunity to vote Democratic. It is the most reliable voting bloc for Democrats. That's why they do this out of political necessity.
Yeah. So you think the president has a shot of winning this case in the high court?
I think it's possible. I think the court can come back and say, maybe you can't do it by executive order. Congress can do it. You are quite right to be skeptical whether they're going to do that. But notice what the ACLU argued. Their attorney, Ms. Wang, said they don't believe that there should be any restrictions whatsoever. So they're not even in favor of getting rid of this birth tourism, which is just absolute madness. It's been said before that the Constitution's not a suicide pact. This is definitely a suicide pact if they think this birth tourism is okay.
All right, Miss Wang, you are a bad girl, when we will not tolerate any more of that. Peter Schweitzer's book is fantastic. Check it out.
I want to point out something very clear before we get off here. You know, if you look up the texting, right? And I'm gonna try to make it here so that you guys can also read it. I'll try to do my best. Hopefully it's big enough. I want you to read this text with me, okay? Now I have to look at my screen over here, but the full text of "We the People," I want you to understand, in the Constitution, we want to give people human rights. Of course, we do. Whether they're migrants, residents, or citizens, everybody has the right for the pursuit of happiness. We have laws. There's a difference between human rights and legal rights. And this is the difference. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to who? To ourselves. The Constitution of the United States of America was written for American citizens. And it was written in such a way that we would respect the human rights of everybody that is in this country. But do not confuse your human rights with legal rights. It's a huge difference. I'm going to say that again. And secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I don't understand why, as an alien from another country, I can come to this country at the age of 13 and understand that I am not an American citizen, nor will my children be American citizens if I have children here. Because my government is from Honduras, from an alien land. And my children belong to me. So they are also under the same jurisdiction as I am. Now, when the government grants me, I apply, number one. So I'm offering myself to be under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. Now, offering myself doesn't grant it. This is what we call it application. So we apply for it, and we got the privilege of becoming a permanent resident, a resident alien, meaning that I have permanent domicile here in the States, but it also acknowledges that I am from an alien land. Alien just means foreign land. Don't get too caught up with the word. Those who are permanently here with permanent domicile, green card holders, those children fall under the jurisdiction, whether it's temporary by green card, they're still under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. Therefore, their children can be American citizens. It's an American citizen. Now you are we the people. And your children is a naturalized American, or if you were born in the United States of America to a citizen of the United States of America, then your children, by law, by the Constitution, are full American citizens. I hope that you appreciate that I decided to take a huge pay cut to do this show so that you can have a perspective from a migrant, from somebody that comes from another country, especially a third world country that can come to the United States of America, love this country, respect this country, proud of the flags of the United States of America, proud of my flag of my country of birth. My children are all American. I am privileged to be accepted by the United States of America. And those who don't appreciate that privilege, they should move. Go somewhere else. If you don't want to respect the law, don't be in this country. It's very simple. So I hope that you understand why I think the way I think. But what I don't understand is why judges, I can only speculate, but I don't understand why judges have not enforced the Constitution as it should be, only for American citizens. Human rights, legal rights. Legal rights will give you the jurisdiction. If you have legal rights, you fall under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. If you can be deported, we don't have, you are not under the jurisdiction of the United States of America, and therefore we send you back to your country. I hope President Trump wins. As a migrant, I believe that the Constitution belongs to the American people, not to the world, and it is a national security problem that you should care about, you should worry about, and you should support. I wish all migrants the best, and those who are here illegal, gotta go. If you're legal, stay. We want you here. We want you to make an oath to the United States of America. I gotta go pick up my wife. But we will continue this subject later today. Love you all. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the USA. Thank you for being here with me today.